Good evening, friends. We are back again with one more session on Learn Polity through MCQ. And in today's session, we are going to target some questions related to judiciary. So without any further delay, guys, let us start. Which part of the Indian Constitution of India is the Union Judiciary provided for? So guys, it is part 5 that deals with the Union Judiciary. Okay, it is the part 5 that deals with the Union Judiciary. To be specific, guys, this is talking about the Supreme Court of India. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have the provisions relating to the Supreme Court of India are contained in which articles of the Indian Constitution? So, guys, it is under Article 124 to 147 is talking about the Supreme Court. Remember that Article 124 to 147, because Article 148 talks about Comptroller and Auditor General, whereas 123 is the power of the President to promulgate ordinances. So guys, 124 to 147 is about the Supreme Court. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have here, which article of the Constitution provided for the establishment of the Supreme Court of India? So guys, it is Article 124 that talks about the establishment of the Supreme Court of India. And if I talk about Supreme Court of India, our first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was H.J. Kania. Remember that H.J. Kania was the very first Chief Justice of our Supreme Court. So moving towards the next question, guys, we have the composition of the Supreme Court of India includes. So guys, what is the composition of the Supreme Court of India? The Chief Justice only, Chief Justice and High Court judges? No, guys. Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court of India and Attorney General. This will be incorrect. So guys, the correct option will be option C. The correct option will be option C. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have the strength of the judges in the Supreme Court of India is determined by. So guys, who determines the strength of the judges of the Supreme Court? So guys, is it the Constitution itself? No. Is it the President of India? No. Is it the Chief Justice of India? No. However, the Parliament, by any particular law or legislation, they can basically decide the strength of the Supreme Court of India, strength of the judges of the Supreme Court of India. So the correct option will be option C. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is dealt with under which article? So guys, the original jurisdiction is dealt under Article 131 of Indian Constitution. So guys, we are going to talk about what an original jurisdiction is. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have here, okay, disputes between the union and the states fall under which jurisdiction of the Supreme Court? Okay, so guys, this is nothing but the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, in which all sort of disputes between the states and the center, or between one state on one side and the other state on the other side, can be dealt under. Okay, so this is what? This is original jurisdiction. So guys, the correct option will be option C. So moving towards the next question, we have here, appeals to the Supreme Court in constitutional matters are provided under. So guys, this comes under appellate jurisdiction. So guys, Article 132 talks about nothing but the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court in terms of constitutional matters. Correct option will be option B. Okay, in appellate jurisdiction, we have three particular articles. Okay, then civil appeals to the Supreme Court are governed by. So this is also a type of appellate jurisdiction. So guys, it is dealt under Article 133. Okay, dealt under Article 133. Civil appeals to the Supreme Court are governed under Article 133 of the Indian Constitution. Then comes the criminal appeals to the Supreme Court are provided under. So guys, the criminal appeals under the Supreme Court are provided under Article 134 of the Indian Constitution. So 132 is regarding the constitutional. Okay, then comes 133 regarding the civil cases, and then comes the criminal appeals under Article 134. So the Article 134 is the correct option. Option C, Article 134. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have here that the collegium system in India is primarily relates to transfer of the cases between the courts. No. Appointment and transfer of judges, yes, guys. Removal of judges of higher judiciary, no, that is not done through this collegium system. And allocation of judicial work, no. So guys, appointment and transfer of judges is the primary task of the collegium system. Okay, so option B is the correct option. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have here the power of the Supreme Court to issue writs for the enforcement of the fundamental rights is conferred by which particular article? So guys, we all know this has been mentioned in fundamental rights under Article 32, right to constitutional remedies. Okay, under that the Supreme Court can issue writs in order to enforce the fundamental rights. However, the High Court can also issue writs not only for enforcement of fundamental rights but also for legal rights. Okay, so the correct option will be option C, Article 32. So moving towards the next question, guys, we have here the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is provided under. So guys, the advisory jurisdiction is provided under Article 143, when the President of India can take advice from the Supreme Court on any particular matter, okay, related to the Constitution. So the correct option will be option D, 143. Moving towards the next question, guys, whose authority is competent to seek the advisory opinion of the Supreme Court? So guys, as we have already discussed this just now, that it is the President of India who can seek advice from the Supreme Court of India. So it is option C. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have here the law declared by the Supreme Court is binding on high courts only, no. Subordinate courts only, no. Parliament only, however, it is all courts within the territory of India. Okay, since it is the apex court, okay, which means at the very top level. Okay, which means at the very top level. Moving towards the next question, guys, we have, so guys, next question is, which article of the Constitution gives binding force to the judgment of the Supreme Court? So the same question which we have discussed earlier, but now we are going to talk about the article. So guys, it is Article 141 that talks about the binding force of the judgment given by the Supreme Court in all of the courts within the territory of the country. Okay. Next question, power of the Supreme Court to pass decrees or orders necessary for doing complete justice is conferred by which article? Which means after that particular complete justice, no further legislation or no further proceedings will be taking place. So this is conferred by Article 142 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, Article 142 of the Indian Constitution. Moving towards the next question, the Supreme Court of India is designated as a court of record under Article 129 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, that states that the Supreme Court will be a court of records. Supreme Court will be a court of records. Now moving towards the next question, guys, we have the power of the Supreme Court to review its own judgments. Okay, the power of the Supreme Court to review its own judgment is provided under which article? So guys, Article 137 talks about the power of the Supreme Court to review its own judgments. Okay, which means they can change their decisions, okay, in course of time. Moving towards the last question of the day, which body recommends the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts under the collegium system in India? So guys, the collegium system consists of judiciary itself. So guys, this was a brief introduction about judiciary. In the upcoming part, we are going to target some more questions related to judiciary. Till then, stay connected with Edufy.